I am probably going to cause some ripples and upset some people today, but it's all for the greater good. We have got to stop it. We have got to stop using dialogue within the best self and spiritual community that goes something like this. Self-love is just a choice. Or, once you love yourself, then you'll find real and authentic connection. Or, when you're in a self-loving place, then everything else will fall into place. Or, my personal favorite, self-love is just this multi-thousand-dollar retreat or $800 course away. No. I am all about giving you guys actionable knowledge in order to get to that highest and greatest self. So today we're going to talk about some common misconceptions that seem to be brewing within the spiritual and best self communities, and some things that you can put into action within your self-love practice so that you can get to that higher place. So to anybody who's never been here before, hi, I'm Elizabeth Blackwell, and I've spent well over a decade of my life so I can help others set sacred space and get to their highest and greatest self. So let's get into this conversation. I have even said within my own videos how important it is to be in a self-loving place. But I certainly hope that I have never given the impression that this is an overnight transformation, because it's not. So let's talk about some of the common misconceptions that get rolling around within building a self-love practice, and then we're going to get into some of the things that you can do in order to get to a self-loving place so that you can build that bright, beautiful life that you're trying to get to. The first misconception is that you are somehow an incomplete person until you get to that perfect self-loving place. No, this is a journey. And yes, we all need to work towards building that best self practice and that self-loving place. But you are no less capable of starting the journey right now exactly as you are. This is part of it. And you need to know what areas that you need to work on in order to grow and heal yourself to get to that self-loving place. The second misconception is that this is somehow a quick journey or a simple thing to do. Now, I am all about positive self-talk, but the idea that you just need to give yourself some affirmations and then you'll be in this perfectly healed, self-loving place is just not true. There's more to it than that, and it takes a bit more effort, and it's not necessarily a quick journey. Now, I am not trying to scare you away here or overcomplicate things. I just try to be realistic, and I hate it when people try to sell quick fixes or give you unrealistic expectations about what this journey is. Because truthfully, there is nothing more exciting or fulfilling than when you start to see progress within your self-loving practice. So the last misconception that I'm going to at least address for today is this idea that once you are in a self-loving place, that everything else will just fall together. Yes, self-love is the first aspect you should be working on, and it is very important. But there is a little bit more that you need to know and understand in order to build that bright, beautiful life. So now I'm going to get into just a few things you should stop doing before you start doing your self-loving practice. Stop dwelling in the past or even looking at it with regret. Everything that you have been through and done has built you into the person that you currently are. And it is perfect for where you are on your journey. So don't look backwards, because it will never serve you to get to that higher and better place. Look at it as a learning lesson and move on. The second thing to stop doing is stop comparing yourself to others or putting people on a pedestal. When you compare yourself to others, that is one of the quickest ways to diminish a self-loving place. And you have to remember, you are looking at others truly through a filter that you're not seeing their flaws. You have your own journey, your own lessons, and your own path to go down. And don't compare yourself, because that is the quickest way to diminish self-esteem and minimize the accomplishments that you have made. So the last thing, at least for today, that you need to stop doing is stop ignoring or trying to change who your authentic self is. Now, I am going to give you several things in order to help build a self-loving practice, but all of them are going to go back to who your sincere self is in order to know the places that you need to work on, the areas that you're wanting to grow in, and the things that you're trying to build towards. So don't try to change yourself or believe that getting to a self-loving place is about changing you, but it's about knowing who you really are and building on the best parts of it. If you've stuck with me so far, please think about subscribing, because this channel is all about helping others get to that highest and greatest place. And if this video has been serving you so far, please consider hitting that like button. It really does help out small channels like this. So now I'm going to give you some areas for you to build a self-loving practice. But instead of giving you specifics, you should do this, this, and this, because everybody is different, I'm going to give you the areas for you to work on in order to build that self-love in the way that works best for you. The first area for you to start to working on your self-loving practice is your physical body. Now, I can hear your eye rolls here. This was the first place that I started working on myself, and it really did help with the rest. But what are some ways that you can nourish your physical body? Whether that's eating cleaner. Don't get down on yourself if you indulge in something, but look at it as feeding yourself deeper. Whether that's moving your body, which I highly suggest. Doesn't have to be extended or very detailed, but just allowing yourself to move in a way that is enjoyable to you. That's key. Getting enough rest and just listening to what your physical needs are in order to put yourself in that best place so that you can work on the rest of it. You just want to figure out ways that you can love your physical body. And yes, there is an innuendo in there. Then there is working on emotional self-love. This is about understanding and managing your emotions, knowing where they come from. I usually recommend techniques like mindfulness, meditation, journaling, self-compassion. There's all sorts of things that you can do to work on your emotional self-love. And then there's psychological self-love. This goes deeper than just your emotions. This is where you start to work on self-loving practices within understanding your behaviors, understanding your goals, and working on resilience and finding your motivation. This one's pretty important. They're all important, but this one is working on your self-love within your connections. This is about knowing how you connect with others Are you putting people on a pedestal, or are you seeing them for their true and authentic self? What are your boundaries with other individuals? How do you insist upon others treating you? But knowing how you connect with others and then working on your self-love is something that will take a little bit of time, but will absolutely pay back to you in helping to build you to that highest and greatest self. And then there is working on spiritual self-love. This goes beyond the body or the mind, but deep into your soul. This will go back to that understanding who your true and authentic self is, so that you can work within this area. This can be techniques like meditation, which I'm a huge believer in, but I know is not for everybody, or sometimes people have a difficult time getting there. This can be working on learning about different spiritual practices or different ways that you can work within your spiritual self-love. This can be time in nature. There's all sorts of ways. Which brings me to, I'm just giving the areas that you need to work on and just some very basic techniques. If you guys want me to go into ways that I recommend, I can break down each of these and give you more in-depth techniques of what has worked for me or others that I have known, things along those lines. Here are just some practical things that I recommend in order to work on your self-loving routine, which is set routines. This is less about having a checklist and more about setting an appointment with yourself so that you can work on self-care routines, which will help to nourish yourself and pour back into you to build you to that more loving place. Make sure you're getting enough alone time so that you can work on yourself, and then balance that with connect with positive and loving people. If you have them in your life and you have positive relationships, then make sure you're connecting with those individuals. Regardless of whether or not you do have those people in your life, make sure that you are connecting with positive things that are the content or your entertainment. Connect with positive, whether that's television, what you're taking in on the internet, what you read or study, but make sure that it's generally uplifting and positive instead of being doomsday or negative things. And then pursue things that make you happy, whether that is partaking in things within the external community, working on creative things that you enjoy, or doing things like working on your job or whatever you do that can help to bring you fulfillment. But pursue things that bring you joy, because that will absolutely help to pour back into you and will help you to work on being in that self-loving place. Again, this is not an overnight thing or the only area to which you need to work in order to build that bright, beautiful life. But it is one of the biggest things that will help you to find your highest and greatest self. I'm going to link some other videos throughout this video as well as at the end that will help you to build in other areas. And I ask that if this has been of service to you, please consider hitting that like button. It really does help out small channels like this. And consider subscribing here, because I am all about building this community so we can all find our highest and greatest selves. So with that, I will say that I am sending you all so much light and love, and I hope you all stay well, my friends.